One. There may be a little delay. Let me know if you can see me.
I can see you.
I can see you. It's not popping up on my, oh, here we go. Yeah, there we are. Okay, that's exciting. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to my first live with a special guest. This is super fun.
Uh-oh, you froze. On my screen, you froze. I don't know if you can hear me. Okay, there you go.
We're back. I don't know what happened. So
You froze. Yeah, it's just a glitch.
it kicked me out of YouTube, but we're back. So sorry about that. And hello. Hi, Mimi. Hi, Jim. Welcome. Welcome, you guys. Good to see you. And we welcome Charlie Toledo this evening, which is awesome. So I'll go ahead and just get started introducing her, and then I'll let her take it from there. So Charlie is a Native American woman of Towa descent. Correct me if I pronounce that wrong, Charlie. And she is also the executive director of the Susquehanna Intertribal Council, which is a nonprofit group in the Napa Valley of California. And their mission is to keep alive the traditions and cultures of Native Americans. So I found Charlie and this group when I was lucky enough to be in Calistoga for the winter and was just looking around at different ways to connect, and here we are. And I've met with her most Tuesdays ever since. That was back in 2023. So yeah, Charlie does a meditation every Tuesday morning, which is super awesome. And I have found it helpful over, especially recently, with times getting more stressful and crazy. She always has an aspect of practicing peace and calm. And so that is what we're here for tonight. She's going to walk us through a meditation, practicing peace and calm, and I'll just enjoy it with you all. So Charlie, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I want to thank Toni for having me here this evening. So usually we start, because most of us are sitting in front of our computer or our phone, just doing a real slow rolling of your head, rolling of your neck. And if it feels sore any place, just let your head hang there, but kind of feel like you're letting the weight of your skull just roll, roll around. Imagine your chin touching your chest, but just doing it really slowly as you're breathing in, just real slow. And this is a neck stretch, which is actually stretching all the muscles from your occipital at the skull all the way down to your pelvic cradle. Every once in a while, too, you can just let your head hang back. Feel the weight of your skull. It opens up your chest, relax your shoulders, but you're focusing on deep, slow breaths. So I've been teaching meditation for about 40 years. I was assistant midwife for over 100 births, and then I've been a practicing masseuse and hypnotherapist for about 42 years. And we are here in the Napa Valley, one of the oldest continuously inhabited places in North America, and doing ceremonial work. That's why I scooted over so you could see where I was. And I'll do that again because there's a lot more people. This is our ceremonial arbor. We were out there today, and we've opened up a couple of portals because our Earth, our whole solar system, is orbiting into line with other star systems. And we've been preparing this for about 40 years. I've been working on this project. And that's part of that is, just being able to be ready for however the world is changing. And the focus, the breath is the most important tool that we have. The breath in, the baby being born, the first thing the newborn and every one of us had to do when we emerged from our mother's womb is take that breath in. So just imagine that first breath. And that first breath is, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for another day on this beautiful earth. And you're just breathing in really slowly, slowly. We're just going to do it's about a 15-minute meditation or visualization. And then that breath out, just breathing. Imagine you have a bag that you've blown up and you're just squeezing all the carbon dioxide from the bottom of the bag, just pushing it all the way out of the bag. And that breath out is thank you. Thank you for this life. Thank you for another day on this earth. I forgot the breath in is yes. So the breath in, that first breath in is yes to life, yes to another day. And the breath out is thank you. And just slow your breath. I'm going to coach you for a little minute because I'm not familiar with you, but ideally in deep meditation, you're taking about a 15-second breath in and a 15-second breath out. And I'll coach you just now through a 10-second. We'll just do it for a few minutes so you can really get that feeling of a deep, slow breath. So start the breath in and you're breathing in. Imagine you're breathing in down to the bottom of your belly, into your diaphragm, and then gently relax your jaw and let the breath out. And just let the breath out, releasing all the carbon dioxide again. Breath out, and then gently start to breathe in. You're breathing in through your nose, and you're breathing in slow. The trick of a deep breath is a slow, deep breath, and then gently begin to release through your mouth, relaxing your jaw. You're breathing out, breathing out, breathing out, and then start the breath in. Mm, Coaching you through a 10-second breath in and a 10-second breath out. So you're still breathing in, and then gently releasing the breath out. Jaw relaxes. You're breathing out through your mouth. Breath out. Breath out. Keep breathing out, just releasing all the carbon dioxide, and then begin the breath in. Breathing into a soft open belly all the way down to your diaphragm. And just breathe in, breathe in. A little bit more breath in, and then gently release the breath. And the key is to breathe slowly. When you're breathing slow, it's easy to do deep breaths. That was a minute of 10-second breaths. We're going to do another minute. Begin breathing in. You're breathing in through your nose, breathing in just a little bit more, and then gently relax. Release the breath very, very slowly. You're slowly breathing out, breath out, and then begin the breath in. You're breathing in through your nose. Breathing in all the way down at your diaphragm, that's saying that yes, yes to another day on this beautiful earth. And then begin gently to again relax your jaw, breath out through your mouth, breathing out, releasing the breath out, and then begin the gentle breath in. Breathing in slowly, just deeper, deeper. And if you're not used to deep breath, it might feel like it's hurting a little bit. You just keep doing that one more little breath in, and then gently release the breath, releasing the breath out, saying thank you for another day on this beautiful earth. So that was about 2 minutes of deep, slow breath. You get that feeling of a deep, slow breath. Just keep now finding a rhythm that's comfortable for you. If it felt sore at all, if it felt hurting when you were kind of pushing the oxygen in, you're putting oxygen into unused lung cells because the lung is made up of all these little bubbles. And those bubbles, if you're taking deep, slow breaths, it's actually easy to breathe in for 15 seconds and then the breath out for 15 seconds. You're filling the lungs completely with oxygen. And then the oxygen moves from the lungs to the heart, and the heart pumps all that oxygen rich blood to all the different organs of the body. And it really takes a burden off the heart when you're taking deep, slow breaths. So we just did a 2 minutes of 10-second breath in and 10-second breath out. Again, if it was feeling uncomfortable when you were pushing that breath out, releasing, you're just squeezing out all of the carbon dioxide from the lungs. And if it was hurting, you're pushing oxygen into unused cells of the lung. You're actually expanding your lungs' capacity to breathe. And with practice, if you practice every day, usually in the beginning, you start out with a 5-minute practice. Today, because it's a guided visualization, is 20 minutes. But ideally, you would start 5 minutes, 2 or 3 times a day, taking those deep, slow breaths, just like I coached you, just 10 seconds in, 10 seconds out, gradually getting it to 15-second breath in, because a 15-second breath in and a 15-second breath out, that's 2 breaths a minute. And then if you can do 2 or 3 breaths a minute, you're taking deep, slow breaths. You're maximizing the capacity of your lungs. And the more you practice, the easier it gets. And especially then if it's hurting. I remember once I was teaching a bunch of Kaiser practitioners, nurses, and doctors, and I was doing this coaching like I just did with you. And it was about 40 years ago when meditation still wasn't so common. And the feedback I got, one woman said, "Well, it was really hurting." And I said, "Well, you're pushing oxygen into unused cells in your lungs. You're expanding your capacity. And so you don't want to push too hard, but just doing that a little bit. But then ideally, after just even a week or two, it shouldn't be uncomfortable. It's easy to blow it up, just like when you're blowing up a balloon, you stretch the balloon and then you blow into it. And the first time you blow into it, it's hard. You release all the air, you're releasing the breath, you're releasing any tension from your body. And then the next time you blow it up, it's easier because the balloon's stretched out. And with your lungs, when all of the cells in your lungs are being utilized, that means you're filling your lungs to their complete capacity of oxygen. It just gets easier and easier to do that. And it's comfortable. It's actually very relaxing. So, sequential breath, you're releasing serotonin, those feel good feelings. And we're at a really important transitional time in our solar system. We're switching, we're kind of moving from the Piscean age into the Aquarian age. So right now in our lives on this world, things are very chaotic. And it's very important to give yourself permission. You can play music, you can set an alarm, like I said, starting out 5 minutes a day, gradually getting it up 10 minutes a day. And if you're doing it 10 minutes a day, at least 3 or 4 times a day, gradually getting yourself up to a full hour of breath work. You're focusing on your breath, but in the beginning, do 5 or 10 minutes a day and then add, 5 or 10 minutes, in the morning, 10 minutes in the middle of the day. Just kind of scan, is your forehead relaxed? Is your jaw relaxed? Are your shoulders relaxed? Those neck rolls I was showing you, or just even letting the weight of your skull, hang back, and that stretches all the muscles in your spine. And it helps to open up your chest and relax your shoulders. But it's helping the spinal muscles to get stronger. And if you stretch the muscles when you're breathing, it helps to oxygenate the muscles. So oxygen goes to all the muscles, to all the organs, and just breathing. Again, remembering that first breath that you took after you came out of the womb, and that breath in, yes, yes to life, yes to another day. And that breath, when we take that last breath out, thank you, thank you for this life, thank you for this day. And being in gratitude is the best way to deal with like stress. Right now there's a lot of things that we could be worried about, but what are the things that you're grateful for? And today I was just talking with Tony and saying that we were out doing ceremony. And what I've been happening lately, I've had a few meteorites for about 20 years, but in this last 2 or 3 weeks, I'm starting to find them. And I said, what they're doing is they're starting to, it's like a magnetic pull. And some of the stones I've had, I'm realizing, oh, they're meteorites. Or I'm just out in public places and they have rock gardens and I'll just be drawn to a certain stone and a meteorite. Every meteorite that's on this earth is 10 million years old. But we don't know how long it's been here. And what I was saying is that the star system, because we're going through this cosmic shift, we're shifting from the Piscean age, which was a 5,000-year cycle, and now we're in the Aquarian age. Actually, 1986, the Piscean age ended, and the Aquarian age we moved into in 2013, February 13th, 2013. So we're just barely 13 years into a 5,000-year cycle. And this is a golden age of compassion and joy. And so, for all of us that are on the earth at this time, we're being asked to be calm vessels, to be those vessels, a still point in a changing world. Being that still point, like the centrifuge. It spins around, it releases all the toxins, and then when you stop the centrifuge, the essence is at that bottom of the centrifuge. So just imagine your own system releasing with the out breath, you're just releasing to its right place and time. Any trauma, any bad memories from the body, from the bones, you're letting it go to its right place and time. And the breath in again is yes. You're drawing down joy, compassion, and knowing that in a chaotic world, one of Thich Nhat Hanh's sayings is a ship that's sinking, one person being calm can keep the whole boat from sinking. And that was something I would always say because a few times in my early days traveling, I was on a boat, crossing the sea, and we hit a really bad storm, and everybody started to panic and freak out. And then I just kind of stood up and yelled and said, "Calm down, it's going to be okay." And we just started singing. I said, "Let's start singing." So we sang songs all through the night, and everybody was calm. And then the storm, it passed, but it was really rough for about 6 or 7 hours. And what had happened the week before, a boat on that same line crossing from Brindisi to Piraeus in the Mediterranean, the boat had sunk, and the captain and the crew had all jumped off the boat and left all the passengers in. So one person had panicked, and then I stood up and told him to be quiet and sit down, and everybody be quiet, sit down. And we just started singing. We started singing Beatles songs. Somebody pulled out a guitar, and for hours and hours we sang. So everybody got calm, and we were able to, weather that storm. And so be that calm voice in a tumultuous time. Because the most important thing to do when things are changing unpredictably, like what we're living through right now, it's important to be calm, be the still point, and then just ask yourself, what's the most important thing for me to do today? What's the most important thing for me to do now at this time in my life or this world? And today, one of the things I chose to do as a new young woman that's come to this area is another telepath clairvoyant. So I'm mentoring her. She's 24, so she's still young, and we were doing ceremony. And when we were working with the stones, to feel, because the stones are really important part of calming. Because when you walk, move at a much slower vibration. So if you find a nice smooth stone, a round circular stone, like a little piece of dough or something, and you sit with that, hold that while you're meditating, it helps us to calm down. It helps us to be that still point. And when I was doing a lot of political work, I used to always carry stones in my purse or my pocket and just hold them in my hand. If the meetings were getting too tumultuous, I would just, focus on my breath and try to be calm. And then thinking, what is it that I can offer to this moment? And again, being that calm voice that says, it's okay. Singing is a way of meditating because you have to breathe into your diaphragm, and it's a way to calm down the energy. So we're kind of coming to the end of our 20 minutes, and I'm just going to close with a song. It's a Cherokee morning song. You sing it when the sun comes up to greet the new day, and you sing it when the sun sets at the end of the day. Wendy-ah-ho, Wendy-ah-ho, Wendy-ah, Wendy-ah, hey, 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 ho, hey, hey, ho, yeah, yeah, yeah. Wendy-ah-ho, Wendy-ah-ho, Wendy-ah, Wendy-ah, ho, 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 hey-ya-ho, hey-ya-ho, yeah, 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 ho, ho. And usually we'd sing that 16 times, 4/4s, but I'll offer it 2 times. My voice being a little bit creaky. It was wonderful to meet with you this evening and to share this little time together. So I hope this encourages you to start a practice if you haven't started, or to continue your practice if you're practicing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Charlie. It was beautiful. I love your singing. Thank you all for
I know.
being here. I know it gets me, I get little tears, but it's a nice feeling. I like it. They're good tears. So, yeah, thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing. I'm going to also in the chat, I'm going to post a link to. Maybe I'm so glad you were here. I post a link to the website for Susquehanna Intertribal Council. Feel free to offer a donation. They are a nonprofit, as I said. Or if you just want more info on what they do or to connect with Charlie to join her Tuesday meditations, you can go on that website and find her there. And yeah, now is the time to stay calm. It feels like the last thing that we may be inclined to do, but it's all that much more important. Calm, compassionate, kind, and strong. So thank you for sharing that message. Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Mimi. So glad you were all here, and take care, everyone. We're going to wrap up. I don't know when I'll be back, but I'll let you know. So, Charlie, I'll see you next Tuesday. And the rest
Great.
of you,
Thank
I'll
you
see
so
you
much,
next
everybody.
time.
Thank you. Sweet dreams, everybody.
Bye bye. Bye, everyone. Bye, Charlie.
Bye.